My vision tunneled to a pinpoint as Victoria's words slammed into me like physical blows. "You're not real family, Catherine," she announced, each syllable sharp as glass in the cardiac unit waiting room. Her French manicured finger jabbed toward the exit door. "Only immediate family is allowed during surgery updates. Wait outside with the others." The fluorescent lights seemed to pulse in time with my racing heartbeat. The watch on my wrist, my mother's watch, passed down when she died, suddenly felt heavy, the second hand ticking in perfect rhythm with the thought hammering through my brain. 15 years of supporting my father, managing his finances, preserving his dignity, and I wasn't real family? The cardiac nurse froze mid-step between us, clipboard clutched to her chest, eyes darting uncomfortably between Victoria's imperious stance and my rigid posture. I tasted copper as I bit the inside of my cheek. "Ma'am," the nurse ventured carefully, "the patient listed his daughter as—" "Stepdaughter," Victoria corrected, her voice razor sharp. "And as his wife of 4 years, I'm making the decisions here." She smoothed her silk blouse, the $1,200 one I'd authorized payment for last month. "She can wait in the general area." "My name is Catherine. I'm 37 and a financial executive. This is the story of how I reclaimed my father from the woman who tried to erase me." I stood slowly, feeling a strange calm settle over me. Not acceptance, but something colder and more resolute. My phone weighed in my pocket. The same phone I'd used to manage Dad's finances for 15 years, ever since Mom died and left me her tech company shares. The same phone that controlled the trust funds, the investment accounts, the carefully structured financial web that kept Robert Peterson living like the successful businessman he'd never actually been. "Of course," I said quietly, my voice steady despite the earthquake happening inside me. "I'll be in the cafeteria if Dad asks for me." Victoria's lips curved into a triumphant smirk. "He won't," she said, adjusting her Hermes bag, the one I'd authorized payment for just last month. "He has his real family here." Real family? I looked past her to the private waiting room I was funding. Her sister Pamela, who'd arrived in a new Tesla, leased through Dad's accounts. Her son Noah, who'd somehow afforded Yale despite never having held a job. Her mother, Eleanor, dripping in jewelry that mysteriously appeared after every family emergency that required urgent fund transfers. I walked past the cardiac nurse's station, past the private waiting room Victoria had demanded, past the elevator where a hand caught my elbow. Dr. Nichols, Dad's cardiologist for the past decade, looked confused. "Catherine, where are you going?" your father specifically asked. "His wife needs space with the real family," I said, the words burning my throat. "I'll wait downstairs." His face darkened, eyes narrowing. "That woman," he muttered. "Your father talks about you constantly. You're the one who—" He stopped himself. "He's going to be fine. Triple bypass is routine for us. I'll have someone update you personally." "Thank you." In the cafeteria, surrounded by the antiseptic smell of hospital food and the low murmur of worried families, I opened my laptop. The screen reflected my face, composed, professional, CFO of a tech company at 37. No one looking at me would guess the magnitude of what I was about to do. I began the process I'd hoped I'd never implement. 15 years of financial management about to be systematically dismantled. The Peterson Family Trust, funded entirely by my mother's estate, the investment accounts, grown from my tech salary, the property holdings, purchased with my bonuses, all structured to appear as Dad's success story, but actually my careful orchestration. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for just a moment. Then, decisive keystrokes. The first email went to the trust attorney. "Please freeze all distributions from the Peterson Family Trust, effective immediately." The second to the financial advisor. "Revoke all authorized user permissions on associated accounts." The third to the property management company. "Cancel all automatic payments for the following properties." My phone buzzed. A text from my assistant at the tech firm where I was CFOs. "Monthly transfers ready for approval. Peterson accounts as usual?" "Hold all Peterson-related transfers pending further instruction," I replied, feeling the weight of each word. 2 hours into Dad's surgery, the first domino fell. Victoria's black Amex linked to a trust credit line declined at Neiman Marcus. The notification popped up on my financial alert app, followed almost immediately by a screenshot from my cousin's Instagram feed. Noah had posted, "Mom's card got declined buying a $10,000 purse. Haha." I sipped my coffee, the bitterness matching my mood, and moved to the next phase. The Mercedes lease, the Porsche, the boat, all under trust ownership, all requiring my signature for renewal, all coming due this week by careful design. Dr. Nichols found me in the cafeteria 4 hours later. "Surgery went perfectly. He's asking for you." I hesitated. Victoria said, "I don't care what Victoria said." He cut me off. "He's my patient, and he wants his daughter." I followed Dr. Nichols up to the cardiac ICU on the 4th floor. The cardiac ICU was quiet except for the rhythmic beeping of monitors. Dad looked small in the bed, vulnerable in ways I wasn't accustomed to seeing, but his eyes were alert when they found mine, crinkling at the corners. "Catherine?" His voice was rough. "You came?" "Of course I came." I moved closer, the antiseptic smell stronger here. "Victoria said you were too busy, that you couldn't make it." I pulled a chair to his bedside, the metal legs scraping against the floor. "I've been here since 5 a.m. She just thought I should wait outside with the others." His face changed, the monitor beside him beeping slightly faster. "She said what?" "It's fine, Dad. You need to rest." "It's not fine." His hand found mine, his skin paper thin against my palm. "You're my daughter. My only." He winced, touching his chest. "Don't get worked up. We can talk about it later." "No, now. I'm tired of later." He gripped my hand tighter. "Your mother would be so disappointed in me. The way I've let Victoria treat you. The money. God, Catherine, I know about the money." I froze. "What?" "I'm not stupid. Just weak." His voice cracked. "I know the company failed 10 years ago. I know the money comes from you, all of it. Dad, I pretended not to know because it was easier. Let you prop up this facade while Victoria spent money like water, treating you like an unwelcome guest in your own family." Tears slipped down his cheeks, catching in the lines that had deepened since Victoria entered our lives. "I'm so sorry." "Why didn't you ever say anything?" Pride. Shame. Fear she'd leave if the money stopped. He laughed bitterly, then winced. "Pathetic, right? Choosing a woman who loves my credit cards over the daughter who actually loves me." "The money doesn't matter, Dad." "Yes, it does. Because I let her use you. Let them all use you while treating you like—" "Not real family," I finished for him. "I figured out the truth about 5 years ago when I overheard you on the phone with the financial advisor," he admitted quietly. "You were discussing transferring funds from your personal account to cover the business losses. I was too ashamed to admit I knew, so I just kept pretending." The door burst open with a bang that made us both jump. Victoria stood there, her face flushed crimson, phone clutched in her white-knuckled grip. "What did you do?" she shrieked, her voice echoing off the sterile walls. "My card was declined at Neiman's in front of everyone." "Victoria!" Dad's voice was stronger than I'd heard in years. "Get out!" "Robert, baby, there's something wrong with the accounts. Everything's being declined. The club called. They're canceling our membership." I said, "Get out." "This is her fault, isn't it?" Victoria jabbed a finger at me, her designer bracelet sliding down her wrist. "She's jealous. She's always been jealous of what we have." "What you have?" Dad pushed himself up despite the pain, the heart monitor accelerating its beeping. "You mean what she pays for? The house she bought? The cars she leases? The lifestyle she funds while you tell her she's not family?" Victoria's mouth opened and closed. "Oh, yes," Dad continued, his color rising. "I know everything. Have known for years." He sagged slightly. "And I let it happen because I was a coward. But not anymore." "Robert, you're confused." "The medication. The only thing I'm confused about is why I married a woman who could look at my daughter, who pays for every single thing in your life, and tell her she's not real family." "I never." "The nurse heard you. Dr. Nichols heard you. Half the cardiac ward heard you." He turned to me, exhaustion evident in the slump of his shoulders. Catherine, is it all gone? The money? Not gone. Just redistributed. I kept my voice professional, the same tone I used in board meetings. The trusts are frozen pending review. The authorized user privileges have been revoked. The automatic payments are suspended. Good. Robert! Victoria screeched, her perfect makeup cracking as her face contorted. You can't let her... I'm not letting her do anything. It's her money. Has been all along. He lay back, exhausted but satisfied. Here's what's going to happen. Catherine, you'll continue managing whatever you feel appropriate for my care and living expenses. Victoria, you'll be getting divorce papers as soon as I'm recovered enough to sign them. Victoria's face drained of color. You can't divorce me. I'll take everything. What everything? Dad laughed weakly. The house, in Catherine's trust, the cars, in Catherine's name, the bank accounts. Catherine funds them. His smile was grim. Please take them to court. I'm sure a judge would love to hear how you've been spending my daughter's money while treating her like garbage. Victoria turned on me, her face ugly with rage, designer perfume wafting from her as she leaned closer. You manipulative little... Stop. Dad's voice was ice. Say one more word to my daughter, my real family, and I'll make sure everyone in your social circle knows exactly how you've been funding your lifestyle. Every charity board, every country club member, every society matron you're so desperate to impress. She fled, her Louboutins clicking frantically down the hall and out of sight, the sound diminishing until we sat in silence. I'm sorry, he said finally, each word weighted with regret, for all of it, for choosing her, for letting her treat you that way, for being too proud to admit I failed. You didn't fail, Dad. The economy failed. Your industry changed. It happens. But I failed you. Let you carry me while getting nothing but disrespect in return. You're still my dad. I don't deserve you. No, I agreed, making him smile. But you've got me anyway. Over the following week, as Dad recovered in the hospital, the full extent of Victoria's lifestyle unraveled like a cheap sweater. Noah's Yale tuition bounced. Pamela's Tesla was repossessed. Eleanor was evicted from the condo I'd been unknowingly funding. The family group chat, which I was never included in, exploded with screenshots my cousin sent me. What do you mean the money's gone? This is illegal. We'll sue. Robert promised to take care of us. That brat can't do this. My favorite was from Noah. I have to get student loans now. This is abuse. Victoria tried everything. Sob stories, threats, even attempted seduction when she cornered Dad's doctor, trying to get me banned from the hospital. Dr. Nichols shut that down quickly. Ms. Peterson is the medical proxy and the only name on the financial guarantor forms. You're the one who needs permission to be here. The divorce was filed immediately upon Dad's release from the hospital and was finalized 3 months later. Victoria had been sloppy, thinking the money would flow forever. Hidden accounts in her name, transfers to her family, even a boyfriend in Miami who'd apparently been unknowingly funding. I want nothing, Dad told his lawyer during the final divorce hearing in September. Sir, you're entitled to... What? Everything is Catherine's. I'm entitled to exactly what I put in. Nothing. Victoria got what she deserved. Nothing. Plus a forensic accounting that revealed she'd taken nearly $2 million in 4 years. I chose not to pursue charges after consulting with our attorney, who advised that the public humiliation and the finalized divorce decree, leaving her without alimony, were punishment enough. After his discharge from the hospital, Dad moved into my downtown condo for his recovery. We converted my home office into a bedroom, hired a visiting nurse, and slowly rebuilt what Victoria had tried to destroy. I can get a job, he said one morning over breakfast, the smell of coffee and toast between us. Consulting, maybe. Something to contribute. You contributed plenty, Dad. You worked 40 years. It's not your fault the industry collapsed. But I should be taking care of you, not the other way around. Says who? Some outdated rule book? You took care of me for 18 years. Now it's my turn. I at least want to manage something. Feel useful. I thought about it watching the morning sun create patterns on the kitchen table. The foundation I'm starting. We need someone to run it. Someone who understands what it's like to lose everything and need help. His eyes lit up. A foundation? For what? For displaced workers. People whose industries disappeared overnight. Retraining, support, dignity. I could do that. You could, I nodded, but the pay is terrible. The boss is demanding, and there's no luxury car allowance. He laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. Where do I apply? 6 months after the divorce was finalized, the Peterson Foundation had helped retrain 200 workers. Dad threw himself into the work with passion I hadn't seen since his company's heyday. He even started dating a widow from his cardiac rehab group who owned a bakery and had no idea he'd once been rich. "She likes me for me," he said wonderingly. "Burnt cookies and bad jokes and all." Victoria, meanwhile, was working at a department store after losing everything in the divorce settlement. Her society friends had abandoned her once the money dried up. Noah had dropped out of Yale when the second semester's tuition couldn't be paid. Pamela's husband left her when the Tesla vanished, and she couldn't maintain her lifestyle. "Do you feel bad?" Dad asked one evening as we watched the news feature on our foundation about Victoria and her family. "Do you feel bad about a parasite when you remove it?" That's harsh. Is it? She had everything. A loving husband, financial security, a stepdaughter willing to share everything. And she threw it away because she couldn't say, "Thank you," or "Your family too." When you put it that way, she made her choice in that waiting room. Real family versus not real family. I just agreed with her categories. My phone buzzed. An unknown number had sent a text. "This is Victoria. I'm sorry for everything. Could we talk?" I showed Dad. He shook his head. "Don't. Wasn't planning to." "Good, because you're my real family, my only family, and I won't let anyone treat you as less than that ever again." I deleted the text and blocked the number. Some bridges, once burned, weren't worth rebuilding, especially when they were constructed from your money and maintained by your silence. The foundation's phone rang. Dad answered with enthusiasm. "Peterson Foundation, Robert speaking. How can we help you rebuild?" I smiled, watching my father find purpose again. Victoria had been wrong. I was real family, the only family that mattered. And families take care of each other without keeping score, without conditions, without cruelty, just with love, and maybe a few trust funds, properly managed this time. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.